or that cheat meal it's good. And most of the times, those cheat meals are usually unhealthy foods because they're called cheat meals, right? So one of the things that I believe is that when people start eating cheat meals and they wait 1 week, for example, they've cut carbs for a week, right? And they're like, okay, but my cheat meal is coming, and I'm going to be able to have whatever. And then they go insanely overboard when that Friday night or Saturday night cheat meal comes in, or cheat day, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And then they go overboard. And then what happens is, I believe that they reinforce their belief that that cheat meal is good for them. Mm-hmm. So then they're asked through willpower to go back again. But they just reinforce the belief that that was good. So now they have to change it again. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't make sense to me, because they're going into a yo-yo of emotions, right? It's a roller coaster of emotions. It's kind of like an abusive relationship. It's like, no, you got to stay away from him or from her. But then you give in one night of passion, right?
Yeah.
You give into one night of passion, and then you're supposed to stay away from them again.
Yeah.
Can you?
It's tough because there are people who are like for example, like really addicted to sugar. Mm. Like I know people like this. If they have any sugar, it becomes a snowball, and it's really hard for them to let it go. But if they're away from it for a while, then they actually feel okay. Like those cravings aren't there. But if they eat any, then the cravings come back. So I hear what you're saying. It can be, it's tough to get back on when you've really gone off the deep end.
Right. And that's why I think that the colors, in a way, bypass that, because there are no cheat meals. They are just colors. And there's no, we would never call a red a cheat meal, because we don't consider it a cheat meal. It's just the color of your food. And that allows people to own up to it and realize that what they're eating is just a color. But they have full control into choosing what it is. Yeah. They could have it at any point they want in their day. If they want to have it on Monday, morning, they could have it that day. But it allows them to know exactly what they're doing. And one of the things that I found is that there's less reliability in self-control with the colors, because it's showing them what they're doing in the moment. And it allows them to pick healthy foods without actually putting a lot of willpower or self-control on it. Now, do you think that is an approach that it's better than doing that, that hate-love relationship type of thing?
I do. What I really like about Ollin Colors is that each meal is a new decision. And I think, it's like, okay, so if I'm going to choose something that's green, yellow, or red, I know that there are consequences to all of them. So what do I want for myself? And it's certainly easier for people to think about when they're eating.
Right. Now, you're mainly in Woodland Hills, but you also help people in a trauma center in the area of Malibu, right?
Yeah, Malibu and Pacific Palisades.
What if somebody's listening to this, and they're listening to this because obviously they want to improve their health and fitness? What would be one or two things that you would tell them to get started, or that one change that they could do today that will help them in the long run? Something that they can do today, because I want people that listen to this to apply something.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind, which I think really feeds our behavior, is like if someone's really serious about changing things, then they need to change what kind of person they think they are. And so by that I mean, like, am I the kind of person that just goes home after work and eats dinner on the couch and watches Netflix all night? Or am I the kind of person that is more active, that actually goes out and has fun? And so it's like, so I would say, identify what you think about yourself and what can you change about it. Like, what kind of person do you want to be?
Can you tell me, like, for example, how to do it right now? Like, do you recommend writing it down? What kind of questions?
Yes, definitely writing it down. What do I believe about myself? Like, maybe take a sheet of paper and then on one side, what do I believe about myself? Anything, all of it. And once you have that list, on the other side of the paper, what do I want to believe about myself? What kind of person do I want to be? You don't have to change all these beliefs, obviously, but can you pick one or two that would be really meaningful?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you get it. So you're saying get a sheet of paper, draw a line in the middle, right? On the left side, put, what do I believe about myself? Meaning, what do you believe currently?
Yes.
And then on the other side, what do I want to be? And then, so you take that belief, let's say, I believe that I'm overweight. And then on the other side, you write, what do I want to be? Right? And then, so that person might put, I believe that I am in good shape.
Mm-hmm. I believe I'm in good shape, and I believe that I am someone that takes care of themselves, that works out regularly. I think I told you this before, like one of the things that really sort of like made me say, okay, this is the guy that I want to work out with, is I was telling you like about myself and what I wanted, and you said to me something like, the Elana I hear you talking about is the Elana that works out every day. And I was like, yes, like that's who I want to be. I want to be that person. And so how can I then take steps to get there?
Okay, perfect. So I remember saying that. So this person, let's say this person writes down that, like, okay, I want to be, I believe I'm overweight right now.
Yes.
But I want to be not overweight and fit and healthy, right? I think you're saying that then it's up to them to decide on one step that they can do today, and that's important.
One step.
And that they can do it today, not the long term. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be 40 pounds lighter. But whatever they can do today will help them. I think you touch on that in those little steps. That's very important.
Yes.
And obviously they have to be able to do it, right? So I like the fact that you mentioned to write it down, because I'm also a big believer of writing things down, because then it kind of becomes a little real. Mm-hmm. And this doesn't take long. No. I mean, it takes a couple of minutes of your day, right?
Yeah.
So. And
most people don't ever really sort of reflect on, like, what do I really believe about myself? Mm-hmm. It's like, so take some time to go inside and really think about that. And are those beliefs contributing? Like, if I think that I am not worth something, if I really have a low image of myself, like really low confidence, low self-esteem, I'm more likely to make decisions that aren't healthy for me. And so, really sort of listening inside, like, what do I believe about myself? And is that who I want to be? Do I want to be something different?
Now, I just realized that is exactly one of the things that you can help people with, right? Mm-hmm. So they can take a first step right now, get a piece of paper, write down what they believe about themselves, write down what it is that they want to be.
Yes.
Write down one step that they can take today. But they can also contact you, and they can also get help by seeing you, where you're going to be able to help them figure out more about this. And I like the fact that you said, look inside and see what it is that you really believe. And you've been doing this for a while, where you've been able to help a lot of people challenge their beliefs in a way, and make them see that a lot of the times the beliefs that they have, the negative ones, are not really true.
That's right.
and that you actually feel very good about it, that you can do that for people, and that you're strong enough to handle all that emotion, all that energy from them, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
Awesome. So if anybody is listening, definitely take these steps. Try it out today. I always like to give people something to do, something where they can actually take an action that's not too hard.
No.
I mean, all you have to do is get a piece of paper, write it, line in the middle.
And can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would also say, like if you're going to do this exercise, you could find someone to do it with you, right? Like find a buddy. Because if we're doing it alone, and you can do it alone, that's great and that's fine. But sometimes we get better results when we work with someone.
How would you do it with the body?
Well, like, let's say you had maybe a family member or a friend that, also maybe wanted to make some changes in their lives. Didn't necessarily have to be weight loss, for example. Let's say they want to reach some kind of goal. You could have this little buddy system where you take this exercise, like what's preventing me from getting over here and how can I change that? And if you don't know, like if you get stuck somewhere, if you can only think of negative things about yourself and you don't really know where you want to go, like maybe they can help or you can help them. So it's more about accountability, but not like so official, right? It could be like really fun with a friend. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't think of that, but that makes perfect sense. And I just thought that even the first step that you could have done is obviously listening to this and write it down. So that's, in a way, that's kind of like already your first step. Yeah.
And then tomorrow could be a different step.
Right.
Tomorrow you could look for somebody that could also want to change a behavior. And it's just a simple question. Hey, do you want to try to do this thing where we just write it down, we tell each other what we're doing, right? Mm-hmm. So then you have accountability. So you're not just doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
So, okay, awesome. I think that's it. I think, that's it for today. I want to thank Elana Christiansen for spending some of her time with me, answering a couple of questions, giving more insight into how we can be better, a better person. And I hope you guys, listen to this and take the information that we just talked about and apply it to yourself and, do the exercise that we talked about. If you want extra help and you want to, look into yourself a little more, you can definitely look for Elana. I'll probably put her information link to this podcast. She is in the area of Woodland Hills in California, around LA, and she also works in a trauma center in Malibu. If you're interested in finding an easier and a simple way to eat healthy foods, take a look at Ollin Colors. No diets, no calorie counting, no supplements to buy. The program works in challenging your beliefs of food, and that itself changes your behavior towards it. So you start to eat better without actually relying on willpower, which was one of the things that we touched on today. So I think that's it. Elana, any last words?
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, this is Servando Dominguez. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time.